bees and pollinators are always in the news, and it's always good to be good stewards to those. And I'm with Gail today, and Gail, you know, we really want to help bees because they're really so important to us, and we're at a really special place at OSU today.
Absolutely. We are at the Oak Creek Center for Urban Horticulture on the campus of Oregon State University in Corvallis, Oregon.
And then really, what do you do for OSU? Because we should say that too.
Sure. So I'm an associate professor at Oregon State in the horticulture department, and I also coordinate the statewide Master Gardener program.
Yeah, so we've talked to you before about lots of things, and spiders was a good one, and so and bees is another good subject. And so what can we do to really help them in our gardens and really help the whole community of bees?
Right. Well, it's fabulous that we're talking to gardeners, because one of the best things that you can do to help out bees in urban and suburban areas is simply to plant flowering plants. The research that we do in my laboratory, we've tried to understand those things that gardeners do that promote and encourage bees or that discourage bees from being in your garden. And the number one thing we found that gardeners do that promote bees is simply the amount of flowering plants that they have in their garden.
We can do that. I mean, we all love to do that, and really that's, you don't think that it's a bigger scale than that. It's like we do it because we enjoy it, but really we help them too.
Absolutely. Yeah, we actually even looked at the amount of green space that was surrounding individual gardens to try to see if landscape level green space impacted bee biodiversity, but it really had a minor effect compared to the influence of flowering plants alone. And of course, I have to say that if you're interested in protecting bees in your garden or encouraging bees in your garden, then you really should look to reduce or eliminate your use of broad spectrum insecticides.
Yeah, and that brings up that whole story about the bee colony collapse.
Sure.
So we haven't really heard about that in the news lately. So
Right.
What is really going on with that?
Yeah, so colony collapse disorder hit the news big time in 2007 when honey beekeepers started noticing almost overnight a lot of losses from their hives. And folks have been studying for many years why that seemed to have been happening. It seems like there are several things that might have been contributing, but we really haven't seen those large-scale bee losses in the same way that we did in 2007. So colony collapse disorder doesn't seem to be as big of an issue today as it was about a decade ago.
Well, I think we all learned a lot from it. And so really, if we've helped a little bit or whatever happened, I think we've all learned that maybe pesticide use has to go down. So I think that's really what's good, the good that came out.
And it definitely put a highlight on how important bees are to our natural areas that we love, to our gardens that we love, to the food that we love to eat. They really play an important role in our lives. It probably was overlooked and undervalued before colony collapse disorder hit the news.
And so besides those two things, and then what else can we do to help bees in our gardens?
Yeah, so a lot of people really like bee blocks as a way to encourage bees in their yard, and bee blocks are great. They provide great habitat for cavity nesting bees, but of all the bee species that there are, only about 30% nest in cavities. The other 70% nest in the ground. So if you might be open to tolerating a little bit of bare ground in your yard, not over mulching every area, not over planting, that can be really great for encouraging ground nesting bees in a garden.
Oh, that is really interesting. And then what about water?
So water is fantastic as well. You know, bees are animals and all animals need water. So making sure that they have a water source, whether it's just a bee bath or whether it's access to a nearby pond or just any access to water that bees can use will help them as well.
Well, you know, Gail always gives us such good information. So remember all those different points. And if you have any other questions, go to gardentime.tv. We'll click over to OSU. They have lots of bulletins on bees and pollinators and get more information that you can use for your garden. Gail, thanks so much.
Thank you so much.